Life after 65 should be a time of peace, reflection, and joy, yet too often it becomes filled with unnecessary stress due to the people we allow into our lives. Not everyone contributes positively to our well-being, and sometimes even family members can be sources of negativity. Toxic relationships drain our energy, cause emotional distress, and prevent us from fully enjoying the years we have worked so hard to reach. At Golden Years Balance, we are dedicated to helping you protect your peace and emotional well-being. In this video, we will uncover 5 types of people you must avoid in old age. Those who bring negativity, manipulate your kindness, or add unnecessary burdens to your life. More importantly, we will provide practical strategies to set boundaries and handle these individuals effectively. Stay with us until the end, where we will share powerful life lessons and actionable takeaways to help you reclaim your happiness and enjoy a truly peaceful and fulfilling retirement. Number 1, the manipulator. They take without giving back. A manipulator is someone who subtly controls and influences you for their own benefit, often using guilt, obligation, or emotional blackmail. These individuals may seem charming and well-intentioned at first, but over time, they take more than they give, draining your energy and exploiting your kindness. Imagine this. You've just settled in for a peaceful afternoon with a cup of tea, enjoying your favorite book. Then, the phone rings. It's your nephew. He asks for a small favor, a ride to the grocery store because his car is in the shop. You say yes because it seems harmless, but then it happens again and again. At first, he sounds apologetic, assuring you it's just this one time. But soon, he stops even pretending to need a favor and instead expects you to be available at all times. If you refuse, he sighs loudly, making you feel like you've let him down. He might say things like, "I thought you cared about family," or "I guess I'll just figure something else out, even though I don't know how." This is a classic sign of manipulation, gradually making someone feel responsible for another's needs while diminishing their own autonomy. The tactics manipulators use. 1. Guilt-tripping manipulators often use guilt to get what they want. They might remind you of past favors they've done for you, even minor ones, or act wounded if you refuse their requests. Their goal is to make you feel selfish for setting boundaries. 2. Playing the victim. Some manipulators position themselves as helpless or unfortunate, making you feel like it's your due to help them. They exaggerate their difficulties, making their problems seem larger than life, so you feel compelled to step in. 3. Gaslighting. This is a more insidious form of manipulation where they make you doubt your own judgment. If you try to set a boundary, they might say you're imagining things or you're overreacting, making you second-guess yourself. For excessive flattery, followed by exploitation. At first, they might shower you with compliments and gratitude. "You're the best! I don't know what I'd do without you." But once they have what they want, their appreciation disappears and you're left feeling used. 5. Silent treatment or passive aggression. If you refuse a request, they may withdraw affection, stop talking to you, or make snide remarks. This behavior is meant to punish you and pressure you into compliance. How to handle manipulators. 1. Recognize the pattern. Manipulators often test boundaries subtly before making bigger demands. Pay attention to whether your interactions leave you feeling drained or guilty. If someone consistently expects more from you than they give, take a step back and assess the relationship. 2. Set clear limits. It's crucial to establish firm boundaries. If you feel uncomfortable, say no without over-explaining. Try phrases like, "I'm sorry I can't do that today. I have other plans. That won't work for me." The less explanation you give, the less they have to manipulate. 3. Practice self-worth. Remind yourself that your kindness should not be exploited. Helping others is admirable, but it should come from a place of genuine care, not coercion. 4. Stop over-apologizing. Manipulators thrive on making you feel guilty. You don't owe anyone endless favors. Saying no is not mean, it is self-respect. 5. Be direct and firm. When dealing with a manipulator, be clear about your boundaries. If they push back, repeat yourself calmly and firmly. If they try to guilt-trip you, don't engage in the emotional game. 6. Limit contact. If someone repeatedly manipulates you despite your boundaries, consider distancing yourself. Toxic relationships take a toll on your mental and emotional health. 7. Seek support. Sometimes talking to a trusted friend or a therapist can help you navigate a manipulative relationship. They can provide an outside perspective and reinforce your self-worth. Manipulators take away your autonomy without you even realizing it. They chip away at your confidence, making you feel responsible for their needs. Over time, this can lead to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and even anxiety. By setting boundaries, you reclaim your emotional and physical well-being. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems, especially when it comes at the cost of your own peace. Recognizing and addressing manipulation is not selfish. It's an act of self-preservation and self-respect. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, not one-sided demands. The next time a manipulator tries to take without giving back, remember, your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Number 2, the narcissist. The world revolves around them. Narcissists only care about themselves. They drain your energy by making every conversation, every event, and every problem about them. Whether it's an intimate gathering, a work meeting, or a casual chat over coffee, they dominate the conversation, leaving little to no space for others. Their sense of self-importance and entitlement makes it difficult for them to genuinely listen or care about the thoughts and emotions of those around them. Narcissism exists on a spectrum, ranging from mild self-centeredness to full-blown narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. While not all self-absorbed individuals meet the criteria for NPD, many exhibit similar traits, such as constant need for admiration. They seek validation and attention to reinforce their self-worth. Lack of empathy. They struggle to understand or care about others' feelings. Sense of entitlement. They believe they deserve special treatment and can disregard others' needs. Manipulative tendencies. They use charm, guilt, or gaslighting to maintain control. Fragile self-esteem. Despite appearing confident, they are often deeply insecure and react poorly to criticism. Imagine sitting down for a conversation with a narcissist, hoping for a meaningful exchange. You begin sharing an exciting childhood memory with your daughter, something that means a lot to you. But before you can even finish, she interrupts. "Oh, that reminds me of when I..." Just like that, your moment is gone. Every conversation turns into a monologue about their life, their struggles, and their achievements. You might notice that they never ask follow-up questions or express genuine interest in your thoughts. Instead, they skillfully redirect everything back to themselves. Over time, this behavior leaves you feeling invisible, unheard, and emotionally drained. Interacting with a narcissist can have profound emotional effects. Many people in relationships with narcissists, whether familial, romantic, or professional, experience feelings of frustration and resentment. Constantly being talked over or dismissed can lead to deep frustration. Self-doubt, gaslighting, or invalidation may cause you to question your own feelings and experiences. Exhaustion, the emotional labor of managing a narcissist's needs while suppressing your own, can be draining. Loneliness. Being around a narcissist can make you feel isolated, as they rarely offer genuine companionship or support. Navigating relationships with narcissists requires strategic boundary setting and self-preservation. Here are some practical approaches. 1. Limit exposure. If possible, minimize your interactions with narcissistic individuals, especially in emotionally vulnerable moments. Keep conversations brief and avoid engaging in deep, personal discussions that may later be used against you. 2. Redirect the conversation. If a narcissist constantly hijacks the conversation, politely but firmly steer it back. Say something like, "I'd love to finish my thought before moving on. That's interesting, but let's get back to what I was saying." This signals that your words are just as valuable and deserve attention. 3. Set clear boundaries. Narcissists thrive on pushing limits. Set firm boundaries by calmly asserting what is and isn't acceptable behavior. For example, "I won't tolerate being interrupted constantly. If this continues, I'll have to end the conversation." "I need conversations to be a two-way street. I'd appreciate if you could listen as well." Be prepared for pushback. Narcissists often react poorly to boundaries, but standing firm is essential for self-respect. 4. Avoid engaging in power struggles. Narcissists love drama and conflict. Engaging in heated debates often fuels their ego and leaves you drained. Instead of arguing, try grey rocking. Give minimal responses to avoid feeding their need for attention. Changing the subject, shift the conversation away from their self-absorbed narrative. Walking away. If they refuse to listen or respect your boundaries, disengage. 5. Surround yourself with supportive people. One of the most effective ways to counteract the emotional drain of narcissistic relationships is to build a strong support system. Seek out friends, family members, or support groups who value and respect you. Being heard and understood by caring individuals can restore emotional balance. 6. Practice self-care. Dealing with a narcissist can be mentally and emotionally exhausting. Prioritize self-care by engaging in hobbies that bring joy and fulfillment, practicing mindfulness to stay grounded and present, seeking therapy or counseling if the relationship is particularly toxic, affirming your worth by reminding yourself that your thoughts and feelings matter. 7. Know when to walk away. In some cases, limiting interaction is not enough. If a narcissist consistently drains your energy, disrespects your boundaries, or manipulates you, consider whether the relationship is worth maintaining. While cutting ties may be difficult, sometimes it is necessary for your well-being. You deserve to be seen and heard. Narcissists may never change, but you have the power to protect your energy and prioritize relationships that bring mutual respect and genuine connection. By recognizing their patterns and implementing strategies to safeguard your well-being, you can navigate these challenging dynamics while preserving your peace of mind. Never allow a narcissist to dictate your self-worth. You are valuable and your voice matters. Number 3, the constant critic. Nothing you do is ever enough. We all have encountered someone who always finds something to criticize, no matter how much effort we put in. These individuals thrive on pointing out flaws, undermining our accomplishments, and making us feel inadequate. Their critiques often come across as harsh, unsolicited, and relentless. A constant critic can take many forms: a parent who always finds faults in your career choices, a boss who never acknowledges your hard work, a friend who subtly belittles your achievements, or even a partner who focuses only on your shortcomings. No matter what you do, it feels like nothing is ever good enough for them. Their words can chip away at your self-confidence and rob you of the joy you should feel from your successes. Example: when your best effort is not enough. Imagine this scenario. You spend hours preparing a beautiful holiday meal for your family, putting your heart and soul into every dish. You meticulously plan the menu, ensure that everything is cooked to perfection, and even set a stunning dinner table. As everyone gathers, you eagerly anticipate their smiles and words of appreciation. But then your sister comments, "The turkey is a bit dry. Mom used to do it better." Your heart sinks. Instead of gratitude and warmth, all you hear is criticism. Suddenly, your pride in your work evaporates, replaced by disappointment and self-doubt. The joy of the moment is stolen, and you are left wondering why you even tried so hard in the first place. This is a classic example of how a critic can overshadow even the most well-intentioned efforts. Instead of celebrating what you accomplished, they focus on what could have been better. Why do some people constantly criticize? Understanding the motivations behind a constant critic's behavior can help you detach emotionally from their words. Here are some common reasons why people become habitual critics. Projection of insecurities. Many critics project their own insecurities onto others. They may feel inadequate in their own lives and find temporary relief in pointing out others' flaws. Control and power. Some individuals criticize as a means of asserting dominance or control. By constantly pointing out your weaknesses, they position themselves as superior. Unrealistic expectations. Certain people have impossibly high standards that no one, including themselves, can ever meet. They might believe that they are pushing others to be better, but they're only creating stress and resentment. Habitual negativity. Some individuals are simply wired to see the negative side of things. They have developed a mindset where they are unable to acknowledge positives without immediately finding a flaw. Cultural or family influence. In some families, criticism is ingrained as a way of showing love or concern. Parents who are overly critical often raise children who adopt the same behaviors in adulthood. Dealing with constant criticism requires a balance of confidence, boundaries, and emotional resilience. Here are some strategies to help you navigate these interactions effectively. Filter their words. Before internalizing a critic's remarks, ask yourself, is this criticism constructive or just nitpicking? Is there any truth in what they are saying, or is it an exaggeration? Is this coming from a place of care, or is it meant to tear me down? If the criticism is not helpful, let it go. Not every comment deserves your energy or attention. Respond with confidence. It's easy to feel defensive when facing criticism, but responding with calm confidence can be more powerful. Consider saying, I appreciate your input, but I'm happy with how things turned out. That's your opinion, but I put in a lot of effort and I'm proud of the result. I understand that's how you feel, but I see it differently. When you show that their words don't shake you, they often lose the desire to keep criticizing.
3. Set boundaries.
If someone constantly criticizes you, it's essential to set clear boundaries. Let them know how their words affect you and what you will no longer tolerate. For example, I appreciate constructive feedback, but constant negativity is draining. If you have something helpful to say, I'm open to hearing it, but if not, I'd prefer we focus on something positive. I've noticed that you frequently point out what I do wrong, but rarely acknowledge what I do right. That's not the kind of energy I want in my life. 4. Distance yourself when necessary. Sometimes the best way to deal with a constant critic is to create space. If someone continually brings negativity into your life, consider limiting your interactions with them. You don't have to cut them off completely, but reducing your exposure to their criticism can protect your mental well-being. 5. Surround yourself with positive people. Seek out those who encourage and uplift you. Positive people provide constructive feedback in a way that helps you grow rather than making you feel small. Their words motivate and inspire you instead of diminishing your confidence. 6. Practice self-validation. The more you rely on external validation, the more susceptible you are to criticism. Develop the habit of validating yourself. Recognize your own achievements. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Remind yourself that you are enough, regardless of what others say. 7. Respond with humor when appropriate. Sometimes deflecting criticism with a little humor can take the sting out of the words. If someone says, your cake is a little dry, you might respond with, well, artisanal, rustic look. Humor can shift the tone of the conversation and prevent negativity from escalating. Your happiness is too valuable to be diminished by someone else's constant negativity. Critics will always exist, but you have the power to choose how much influence their words have over you. Don't let their words define your worth. Don't let their negativity overshadow your joy. Don't let their expectations dictate your actions. Instead, focus on your growth, your achievements, and the people who truly appreciate you. The constant critic may never be satisfied, but that doesn't mean you have to live in their shadow. Rise above the negativity, believe in yourself, and continue to move forward with confidence and grace. Number 4, the irresponsible. Their problems always become yours. In life, we all face challenges, setbacks, and difficult situations that require us to take responsibility and find solutions. However, some individuals refuse to take ownership of their circumstances and instead rely on others to handle their problems. These people often create unnecessary stress, emotional exhaustion, and financial burdens for those around them. The irresponsible individual can come in many forms: the adult child who constantly needs financial support, the friend who never follows through on commitments, the co-worker who always expects others to cover for them, or even a family member who continually makes poor choices and relies on you to clean up the mess. Their problems, no matter how big or small, inevitably become yours unless you learn to set boundaries. Imagine this scenario. Your son is in his 40s, but still comes to you for money because he's going through a rough patch. You understand that life can be tough, so you help, thinking it's just a temporary setback. But then months turn into years, and you find yourself constantly dipping into your savings to bail him out. He never learns to manage his finances, never takes responsibility for his spending habits, and continues to rely on you as his safety net. You love your child, and you want to see him succeed. However, by continuously providing financial assistance without requiring accountability, you're enabling his behavior rather than helping him grow. Over time, this dynamic can leave you feeling resentful, exhausted, and financially drained. Worse, it may rob your son of the opportunity to develop the skills and discipline needed to become self-sufficient. When you constantly step in to solve other people's problems, you might feel like you're being kind, supportive, or even fulfilling a duty as a parent, friend, or colleague. However, enabling irresponsible behavior has several serious consequences. 1. Emotional exhaustion. Dealing with someone who refuses to take responsibility can be incredibly draining. Their problems never seem to end, and they always expect you to be the one to fix things. This can lead to stress, anxiety, and even feelings of guilt when you finally decide to set boundaries. 2. Financial strain. If you are constantly bailing out an irresponsible person, whether it's covering their rent, paying off their debts, or giving them just a little help here and there, it can have a significant impact on your financial well-being. Your golden years should be spent enjoying the fruits of your labour, not struggling to support someone who refuses to take control of their life. 3. Lack of personal growth for the irresponsible person. By always rescuing someone, you rob them of the opportunity to learn from their mistakes. Struggle and hardship are often the greatest teachers. But if someone never has to face the consequences of their actions, they will never learn, grow, or develop resilience. 4. Strained relationships. Constantly helping an irresponsible person can lead to resentment and frustration. Over time, this can create tension in your relationship. Instead of feeling gratitude, they may come to expect your help as a given. Worse, they may become manipulative, using guilt or emotional blackmail to keep you in the role of their saviour. 5. Loss of your own peace and happiness. Your time, energy, and resources are valuable. If you are constantly giving to someone who refuses to help themselves, you are sacrificing your own well-being. You deserve to live a life free from unnecessary stress and burden. Recognizing the problem is the first step. The next step is learning how to set boundaries and encourage accountability without feeling guilty. Here's how. 1. Say no with love. It's natural to want to help those you care about, but sometimes the best way to help is to step back and let them handle their own problems. A firm but loving no can be more beneficial than constantly saying yes. Example, I love you and I understand you're going through a hard time, but I can't continue to help you financially. I believe in your ability to find a solution. By saying this, you are showing that you care while also encouraging them to take responsibility. 2. Encourage accountability. Instead of solving their problems for them, guide them toward taking action. Help them develop the skills they need to succeed on their own. Example, if your adult child struggles with finances, suggest they take a budgeting class or speak with a financial advisor. If a friend is always in crisis but refuses to change, encourage them to seek professional counselling. 3. Set clear boundaries. Boundaries are essential when dealing with irresponsible individuals. Decide what you are and are not willing to do, and stick to it. Example, I am happy to offer advice, but I will not lend money. I will support you emotionally, but I will not take on your responsibilities. When you set clear limits, you protect yourself while also encouraging the other person to become more self-reliant. 4. Resist guilt and manipulation. Irresponsible people often use guilt or emotional manipulation to get what they want. They might say things like, if you really cared, you would help me. I have no one else to turn to. You're abandoning me. It's important to recognize these tactics and not let them sway you. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's life. 5. Prioritize your own well-being. Your golden years should be spent enjoying life, not carrying someone else's burdens. Focus on your own happiness, health, and financial security. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and appreciate you for who you are, not just what you can provide. Helping others is a noble act, but there is a difference between support and enabling. The irresponsible will always have problems, and if you allow it, those problems will become yours. However, by setting boundaries, encouraging accountability, and prioritizing your own well-being, you can free yourself from the weight of their burdens while still maintaining a loving relationship. At the end of the day, you deserve to enjoy peace, stability, and happiness. Letting go of the responsibility for someone else's life does not mean you don't care. It means you care enough to let them grow and learn on their own. And in doing so, you reclaim your own life, ensuring that your golden years are truly golden. Number 5, the ungrateful. They take and take, never giving back. One of the greatest joys in life is giving, offering our time, love, support, and resources to those we care about. Whether it's helping a friend through a tough time, caring for a loved one, or simply being there for someone in need, giving creates connection and fulfillment. However, not everyone reciprocates kindness or even acknowledges it. Some individuals take without giving, assume generosity as their right, and fail to express even the simplest gratitude. These are the ungrateful, the people who keep taking while never giving back. Imagine this scenario. You babysit your grandkids so your daughter can go to work. You adjust your schedule, sacrifice your free time, and put your energy into ensuring the children are cared for, entertained, and safe. You make them meals, help with their homework, and even clean up around the house. You do all of this out of love, expecting nothing in return except a simple thank you. Instead, what do you receive? Why didn't you feed them what I left in the fridge? Not a word of appreciation, no recognition of your effort, just criticism and entitlement. At first, you brush it off. You tell yourself she's stressed, or maybe she forgot to say thank you. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. Every time you help, it's expected. And instead of gratitude, you get complaints, demands, or indifference. You realize that your kindness is taken for granted, and that hurts. Why are some people ungrateful? Ungratefulness can stem from various psychological and social factors. Here are some reasons why certain people fail to show appreciation. 1. Entitlement mentality. Some people grow up believing that others owe them something. They see acts of kindness as their right, rather than a privilege. If they've always been given things without having to work for them, they may assume that generosity is just the way life works, without recognizing the effort behind it. 2. Lack of awareness. Not everyone is emotionally intelligent enough to recognize and appreciate the sacrifices of others. They may not even realize how much effort goes into the help they receive. 3. Taking familiarity for granted. People often appreciate strangers more than their own family. A friend lending a hand may receive a heartfelt thank you, but a parent or sibling helping out, it's expected. The closer the relationship, the more likely some people are to assume that help is just part of the deal. 4. Inability to empathize. Some individuals lack empathy. They fail to put themselves in the other person's shoes and understand the impact of their words or actions. To them, it's just another favor, one they assume you should be happy to provide. 5. Unspoken resentment or guilt. Sometimes, people who don't express gratitude may actually feel guilty about their dependence on others. Instead of acknowledging the help they receive, they mask their discomfort with criticism or avoidance. Dealing with ungrateful individuals can be frustrating and emotionally draining. Here's how you can protect your well-being while maintaining your kindness. 1. Pull back on giving. If you notice a pattern of entitlement and ingratitude, start setting limits. Just because you can help doesn't mean you always should. If you always babysit for free, consider asking for a small fee or setting certain days when you're available. If you're always the one offering emotional support, take a step back and see if they notice your absence. When you stop overextending yourself, you'll quickly see who truly values you and who only values what you provide. 2. Speak up and set boundaries. If you feel unappreciated, say something. You don't need to be confrontational, but you do need to be honest. I love helping, but I also need to feel valued. A simple thank you goes a long way. I don't mind doing favors, but I can't keep giving without any appreciation. Sometimes people don't realize they've been ungrateful until it's pointed out to them. 3. Invest in those who appreciate you. Shift your focus to relationships that are reciprocal. When you surround yourself with people who acknowledge and value your kindness, you'll feel more fulfilled and respected. Spend time with friends who express gratitude. Help those who truly appreciate your efforts. Focus on relationships that bring mutual joy rather than one-sided exhaustion. 4. Recognize that some people won't change. Not everyone will become more grateful just because you want them to. Some individuals are set in their ways. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to change them, Accept that their ingratitude is about them, not you. If your daughter never says thank you, remind yourself that you're doing it for your grandkids, not for her. If a friend only calls when they need something, recognize the pattern and decide how much you're willing to give. Letting go of expectations from ungrateful people can be liberating. 5. Find gratitude within yourself. While external validation feels good, your own sense of fulfillment should not depend on others' appreciation. Focus on your own gratitude. Be proud of your kindness, even if others don't acknowledge it. Practice self-care and remind yourself that you deserve appreciation, even if it doesn't always come from others. Keep a gratitude journal to remind yourself of the positive aspects of your life and the people who do appreciate you. Your kindness should never be taken for granted. While it's a beautiful thing to give and help others, it's also essential to recognize when your generosity is being exploited or ignored. By setting boundaries, investing in those who appreciate you, and shifting your focus to relationships that bring mutual value, you can ensure that your kindness is respected rather than expected. The ungrateful will always exist, but that doesn't mean you have to let them drain your energy. Choose where you invest your kindness wisely, because your time, effort, and love are valuable. Your golden years are meant to be a time of joy, reflection, and fulfillment. After decades of hard work, sacrifice, and dedication to others, you deserve to live in peace. Protecting your peace is not just about avoiding negativity, it's about actively choosing an environment that nourishes your well-being. You owe nothing to toxic people who drain your energy or make you feel unworthy. You have spent a lifetime giving, and now it's time to prioritize yourself. Relationships should uplift you, bring you joy, and add value to your life, not leave you feeling exhausted and unappreciated. To truly protect your peace, take intentional steps today. Identify the people in your life who bring you stress or negativity. Set clear, firm boundaries to limit their influence. Surround yourself with love, positivity, and mutual respect. Choose to invest your energy in those who genuinely care about your well-being. You have the power to create a life that reflects your inner peace and wisdom. Now, let's hear from you. What's one lesson from this video that you'll apply to your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, like, share, and subscribe to Golden Years Balance for more insights on health, happiness, and wisdom in later life, to turn on notifications so you never miss an update.